Hey everyone, we are live right now with the High Level Masterclass with a special guest, Miss Paige Battcher. Paige, we've met her, I want to say a couple of years ago when I think one of my first interactions with you was when you came to our in-person mastermind in Dallas. And if you don't know who Paige is, she's been doing some really cool things in the world of SaaSpreneurship. She does a lot of high ticket custom work and has her own agency. So without any further ado, say hello. Tell us what city and state you're checking in from. I know a lot of you were looking forward to this masterclass. Paige, thanks for saying yes to us.
Oh my goodness. I'm buzzing about it because I just remember a couple years ago, I was watching all of these master classes. I knew I wanted to be teaching what I know, but I didn't know I would get here. And so really grateful for you, Paulson, and the whole team at High Level.
Amazing. So how did you find high level? Like, what is your journey to high level? Help us kind of fill the gap there of, what is are you a technical person? Are you a strategist? Like, how did you find high level?
Yeah, I am at my core about 12 years ago, I started doing website design. So I'm a front end designer and I built in all the tools. And I just jumped from one to another to another. And a friend of mine right around 2020 said, "You got to check out High Level." And I said, "Not another platform. I can't possibly learn a new one." And I'm lucky that it's through a lot of things that I heard that I hope to share today that I lost that resistance. And now it has completely changed my business and I mean, ultimately my life. So now I am all in on High Level. That's the only place we build for our clients. It's the only place that makes sense too.
I love it. So those of you that are just tuning in a masterclass setting like this, typically what we do is take a single topic and go all in on that topic. And I know Paige has a lot of cool things set up for you guys. We're going to provide some resources. You might be able to see the option to jump into a trial as part of this masterclass. You don't have to. You can continue watching a lot of our virtual events and just learn if that's what you feel more comfortable. But if you do decide to jump to the trial, Page has snapshots and resources and all kinds of stuff. So just be on the lookout for that. Paige, what are we going to learn today on this masterclass?
Yes, we're gonna learn. So I want to say this because there are so many brilliant people in this community that can help you in any number of ways. And just a couple of years ago, I was watching trainings similar to this one, and I kept thinking, do I need to change my offer? Do I need to change my niche? Do I need to get into this thing that I haven't done before? And yet, every week and month, I just kept having people come to me and say, "Can you build me a website?" And so, if you are listening and you've been doing freelance work, service provider work, you're the kind of person who has already been doing website design, this is for you especially. So, we're going to be talking about how you can raise your project prices and start capitalizing on the recurring income potential and the opportunity with High Level.
I love it. How many of you are in the world of website design? I'm just kind of curious of where you are in your journey. And maybe you haven't started anything with websites, but that's part of something you want to offer in the future. Give me a one in the chat if you already do website services. Give me a two in the chat if that's something that you're really interested in. So, Paige, if you want to share your screen, you can, and we can go into the slides. That way, I just get excited and I'll just keep rambling, which I don't want to do. So we can keep
Oh,
this conversation a bit more organized that way.
great.
Okay,
I
awesome.
I should be in here. Whoops, what am I doing here? Slideshow. Okay, I might be a
That's
little
okay.
nervous. Can you see my slides right now?
We see your slides. Yeah. AI growth websites, the new era of website design.
That's right. Yeah. So this is really why the traditional website design approach, or even if you're a graphic designer or you've been doing social media management, this might ring a bell with you, but it's shifting into a scalable recurring revenue opportunity with High Level. And I'm just going to tell you, at one point I was dealing with this completely, and this might be you right now, is the income trap. If you're just doing one-off projects, you're struggling constantly to get the next client to then start over again to get the next client and you're not necessarily getting them to be paying monthly for things that don't require more of your time. And so, and most of us decided to do this for freedom. I know when I got out of grad school, I thought I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I want to build my own business. And yet sometimes we end up like we're in this endless hustle culture and kind of edging our way to burnout all the time. And this is the antidote to that. because I have been there. I've been doing this for 12 years. I was always feeling behind, like there was something new that I needed to crack the code on. And a lot of that was because I was undercharging. I was doing one-off projects and then having to start from scratch the rest of the time. I had endless scope creep. If you can relate to that, drop a comment. Uh, I was afraid to delegate. I wasn't truly I never had a desire to have a 100-person team, and so I tended to do everything by myself, feeling like I was the only one who could get it right. Again, undercharging. I can probably mention that 5 times. Like, let me know in the comments if you can relate to that and you're trying to figure out how to step into the world of charging more while also providing more value to your clients. And then we had endless tech stacks with no monthly ongoing revenue. For the first 5 years in my business, I was building some really cool stuff, awesome, beautifully animated websites for clients that were thrilled. But I looked up, and at the 5 year mark, I still had zero passive recurring income. And I don't want that for any of you, and I will never go back. So, plus, clients were sick of having yet another tool. I don't know if you've ever done this, but it was the dreaded phone call to a client. And I would say, hey, that thing you wanted to do on your website, well, you're going to need this other software. Can I put your credit card in on file for it? And clients were sick of having 6, 7 places to go. And the average client was confused on where they were supposed to log in to even understand things in their business. And this was just, 5 or so years ago. That was kind of the norm, but things have changed. And not only do we have a massive wave of all in one and the ability to have everything in one place, I really feel like we are in an era of AI infrastructure, which is completely turning things upside down. The average business doesn't even really automate much, if anything at all. And especially your small businesses around the city, if you look around and interact with them, you realize they don't have much automation in place. You add AI into the mix, and it's time for us to ride a new wave because the shift is happening, whether we like it or not. Basically, the old way was you made pretty brochure sites and you had to duct tape and glue together a bunch of tools, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, for sure, like, comment if you've ever had to figure that out, or you have 600 browser tabs open because you're in multiple software tools for multiple clients. And the goal was, we'll make it as flashy and as beautiful as possible, and the most beautiful website wins. That is no longer how businesses want things, and it's not what works today. So what does work is selling all-in-one growth websites, is just what I call them because they're beefier than just plain websites. And using AI automation, the CRM, the backend, the calendar scheduling, I'm going to show it to you and get into it. But this is really what businesses want. They want one place to log in and track their marketing sales, not 6 places to log in. And they're not as tech savvy as we are. In a certain senses, business owners are doing their business and they hire us to do the tech. And so that's why this is actually better for them. So let's talk about, what does the actual business model look like? What do I mean by this? And hear me say this, drop a comment in the chat if you're still feeling like you're getting value out of this, but you don't necessarily sell websites. You hear me say that you can sell any service, but then what I'm sharing with you applies because you're basically building systems instead of just something pretty. Instead of just a flyer or a brochure, you're building things that all connect the dots for a business. So the growth website business model, or whatever you may sell through this opportunity, it looks like this. You sell the growth website for a one-time setup fee of $5,000 to $50,000, maybe more. And I know there's what is it, that there's no guarantee of income here. This is definitely just from my experience. The range is very large because of the value you can offer to people and what you're willing to embody for your own value. And we'll get to pricing a little bit in just a moment, so that I can encourage you to kind of step up within yourself to realize how valuable your skills are. Once you sell the growth website, you obviously use AI and AI tools to build it faster and to make it better for the client. And then you must stick to your proposal. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hack here as we step into proposals, because again, you don't want scope creep. You want to clearly define the services you're selling, complete those services, and you can always quote for additional services later on. And number three, the beauty of this is that you're reselling, or you've probably also already heard white labeling the HighLevel platform. You're putting your brand logo on it, and that way you get paid monthly for this software. You can charge absolutely anything you want for it. I'd say the standards fall somewhere within 97 to 497 and upwards per month. But this is for a software fee. It's separate from your services. And that is an incredibly important part. So, for example, I've built growth websites for clients, and 2 years later, they're simply just paying for the software. And because of the way HighLevel has established this opportunity, I get to share in that profit. The business needs it anyway. So every project you build pays you upfront and it pays you monthly without additional services. You can charge retainers if you want to continue having expectations with the clients and working with them ongoing, but this is completely separate when it comes to actual software platform fees. And someone said this long ago, you've probably already heard it, but it's like a utility bill. It's like a brick and mortar store would need to pay for their light and electricity bill. That's what the software is. And businesses understand that nowadays, that their digital ecosystem and their digital storefront is just as important as a physical one. And so they understand that there are software fees, and you get to be a part of that. So, uh,
Paige, you also, just to reiterate, in the world of websites, this business model already exists because, like, traditionally you would charge a client for hosting,
mhm,
right? So
yeah,
it's not a new concept for like a maintenance fee, even if it's like $50 a month. It doesn't have to be 100. Some people charge 300, 400 based on a CRM solution instead of just hosting, right? Can you kind of elaborate on the landscape there?
that is so true. And I used to call it the plugin rat race because, in addition to just hosting, you were always tracking down the latest plugin that was no longer supported or corrupted. And you were sort of patching things. You used to have to go into the back end of websites and update the FTP or update the plugin files. And, gone are those days. What we're talking about here with HighLevel is charging for the system that's running behind the scenes for clients. And it's a system, I know, Paulson, you can probably tell me the exact number, but it's a system that's maintained by hundreds and hundreds of developers that HighLevel employs around the world.
Yep. Yep. Almost, I think, 600 engineers. But, the cool thing is we're built on top of Amazon's AWS and Google's clouds and, a lot of infrastructure that's is very proven and strong, right? So let's keep going. What is a growth website?
Great. Yes. So I'll kind of flip through these quickly. You can always hit replay if you need it later on. But uh, SEO optimized website, obviously, everything that you can build in the other known website platforms, feel free to pop them underneath. I know I've personally built in about 8 or 9 different platforms each time, learning how things are set up. Once you
Yeah.
learn this, you won't need to learn any new platforms, because once you build the website, you don't have to go look at other software to complete this as a growth website. So, what I mean by growth is that you'll have lead nurture, opt in forms, chat widgets, calendars, AI chat, AI voice, nurturing the leads of a business. You'll have communications and marketing. So, email and text message marketing, a unified inbox that can also be integrated with Facebook and Google and social media direct messages. You'll have deal tracking. CRM, as an acronym, customer resource management, is becoming more and more popular. Clients are now coming to me asking me if HighLevel is a good CRM, and of course I tell them yes, and then I show them that if they bring everything into one platform and one login, what it can do for their business. We've got the opportunity pipelines, documents, contracts, invoices. These replace so many other software tools for businesses, AI and automation. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a moment, but just think of it this way. If you can help them set up some basic automation or even integrate AI, things like AI review responses, conversational AI, AI voice, and even help them just send off emails to people who say yes or sign up for their product and service, you'd be surprised the number of small businesses, even to medium-sized businesses, that aren't doing enough on this front. A very simple drip sequence can be a big game changer for the average business out there. So when you're building these, you're building them on HighLevel. I know you can build them anywhere, but why would you do that when the opportunity exists right here? It's a drag and drop builder. You can set up all the SEO metadata, and I'm going to show you some really cool stuff in just a moment so that you can see ways you can create templates that are going to even speed you up. So if you've already done if you've kind of participated in Showit or Squarespace templates or WordPress templates, you're going to love this ecosystem and how it works. So I'll get into that in just a moment. Lead generation, again, all drag and drop, plus the system has an entire template library. I don't know, Paulson, maybe thousands, thousands upon
Yeah, I
hundreds.
do. Yeah, it's almost, we've turned it into a marketplace almost. So it's like hundreds and hundreds of free stuff that our team puts together and customers who are willing to like share. And I
Nice.
think you can buy, I don't know if you can buy actually, now that I think about it, but we had the plans of creating like a marketplace, but now you're right, there's hundreds and hundreds,
Yeah.
maybe close to 1,000 plus templates that are there.
So it'll speed you up, and that's on the website side as well as the form side. And of course, you can start from scratch and build everything block by block. If you're a designer, that might be your favorite thing to do. But quizzes, conditional logic on those quizzes, chat
Yeah.
widgets that you can set up in a minute or two, but businesses love, right? Calendars that you can do the calendar scheduling. All of this sort of stuff is going to take somebody from a lead to a client for your customer, and then AI voice and AI chatbots as well. This is just a look at the type of chats that you can create through text messaging, through a live chat experience on the chat widget, even through WhatsApp. The integrations, I feel like they're happening weekly. So keep your eyes peeled, because if you're thinking it's probably going to happen, and knowing how HighLevel moves. Then you've got the deal tracking, and you'd be surprised by the number of businesses that have their stuff in random spreadsheets, don't really have a clear, comprehensive place to look at a dashboard for all of their opportunities. This is very simple to set up, and it's very meaningful for the client. Instead of just a list of contacts when they log in, they have actual opportunities that they're tracking through the pipeline.
Yeah. And the cool thing about these templates and marketplaces is that if you're starting out, you can download those and build up a portfolio of case studies and be transparent that, hey, this is what my colleagues have built out with the similar systems. And we've seen that people use it for proposals, they use it for testimonials, they use it as samples, they use it as inspiration to show people. Like it's almost like a building a house, but you're going to a model home, right? You're trying to just see like varieties of different designs. But yeah, people use it even if they're not using it to actually build something, but just for the sales component as well.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yes, actually, opportunity boards or pipelines, those are kind of synonymous. They can be used in so many creative ways.
Yeah.
This screenshot here is a look at the unified inbox. This alone can be a really big game changer for clients. They can also sync their own emails on Gmail or Outlook and bring them in here so that they're seeing all of the conversations, including phone calls and text messages, and then the activity feed, which is something that so I'll also say, maybe you're not selling the website in the forefront. Maybe they're coming in for the CRM and they have a website that's already built somewhere else, but it's edging toward that 5-year mark. It's becoming outdated, and it's not a growth website. It's not doing what they need for it. You can show them that, hey, we could actually track activity on your website if you have it all in the same platform, which is conversation starters when you reach out to people. Communications and marketing. So they're I would say every business in the world needs to be able to communicate with people. So emails, calls, text messages, social media, all of that also is under one roof. AI and automation, the workflow builder is the best possible workflow builder that I've seen. It's fast, it's quick, and there's an AI workflow builder where you can actually just describe what you're trying to do, and it will guide you through the action steps. So
Yep.
this is just, in my mind, if all you did was build 3 very simple workflows for people, you have something so sticky, a website plus automation. You'd be surprised. I mean, that's, people will stick around for years for that.
Absolutely.
I love this graphic because I think it's important to remember that not only is it incredibly cumbersome for businesses to have multiple tools to figure out what the heck is going on in their business, it's costly and it adds up. So you get to replace all of these things. I kind of talked about them, and I want to go a little bit more in depth. But first, I want to say this benefits your clients, right? The more you step into this space, you're creating one place for them to log into, not six. You're organizing their business. They have one central source of truth, and it empowers them on a platform that they can scale with over the years. So you don't have to build everything we just talked about in order to build a growth website. You could start them with something smaller for phase one of the scope. And you'll find that over the years, as they grow as a business, they're going to have new ideas and they're going to come back to you for additional service work, which was never something that happened in the first 5 years. When we were just building brochure sites, the company would go, okay, I'm good, got my website. Maybe the occasional company would understand the value of blogging, but this is so much different because they're going to see all of the features they can unlock in the same platform without having to pay for additional software tools. I mean, the sky's the limit. So, and it saves them money, as we talked about, and they finally have automation.
Yeah, and to be clear on this, you know, n- in my opinion, we never set out to replace industry-related software. So let's say stuff like Service Titan or Bird Eye or like, things that are Dental Eagle Soft. The things that are just so specific to the industries. But I'll tell you this, if you go into high level, you as the expert in the mix could get really far in replacing some of those softwares. I mean, if it's 80%, 85%, 90%, yeah, you're not going to have the 100% of another software. That was never the model. It's more like, can we get 80, 85% of every great system out there? So that way, a expert marketer that's in the mix or a fractional CMO that's in the mix could create a all-in-one solution for their customers. That's always been the inspiration.
Yes. And, with the smaller or medium sized businesses, typically they'll have multiple tools, but they're only using 10% of what those tools can do. So you can absolutely bring them into high level. I mean, just earlier today, I got a phone call from a woman who said, "Wait, you mean I can replace that does our contracts and our invoicing?" Yes. "You mean I can replace the other tool that does our calendar scheduling?" Yes. And benefit, you're going to see everything in one place. And she had this sigh of relief. So
Yeah.
I hear that all the time. And that I think that's also too why it's a benefit to you as well as the builder, because you have one central place to log into and you can actually toggle between your client accounts. I mean, there was definitely a point in time, a couple years into my business, where I would be in 3 different website builder platforms, and then also I had to connect the dots on their email marketing, and so I was in different tools, and there at any given time, my brain was fried because I was trying to maintain, 20 different tabs across just a couple of clients, and then each time I got into a different software, I was trying to navigate and figure it out, and that got really exhausting. The other benefit to you is that this pays you more money up front. So you're not just somebody going, we've probably all heard it. Drop a comment if you've heard this before where somebody just says, "Well, I just need a simple website." And that's like the thing people say when they don't want to have a discussion about budget, or they don't realize that this is possible. And they think of a website as a glorified brochure. And so when you can start to bring the value to people and say, "Hey, this is a full-on system. This is building for today and building for the future of something you can scale with," your prices will increase just by the very nature of what you're building for them. And then you get the recurring software income for months and years to come.
Yeah.
And
And numbers don't lie, right? If you put up a high level website and turn on the AI employee and you're like, hey, I am generating 50 new conversations through the website, then it just becomes not just a fancy, cute brochure online, but a real sales machine of some kind.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the things I really love too is getting the clients in there, and once they're empowered, their minds are blown by it. Like you said, they're seeing the results and they know that they can click a button and send a new proposal, click a button and send a new invoice, collect money through the phone app. It's pretty amazing to see. And I believe that I've heard it from a couple of people in the community about how sticky, certain features are. I think your website as a core feature and automation are incredibly sticky. I don't know if Paulson, you have any thoughts on
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah, absolutely, because they're the biggest traffic doors of a business, you know? Like no no matter what you do, that's like the identity of the business.
yeah, yeah. And then more freedom, which is ultimately what we're all after, right? So that's the goal, and that's why I'm really here sharing it with you. And I just want to kind of button up this whole business model of what you're selling with just again a reminder. Every business needs software like this. I think we can all agree to that, right? Like every business needs software that does these things. And you could choose any software in the world. You could build on what the client suggests. You could already be building somewhere else. But here's why teaming up with HighLevel makes the most sense in my mind, and you can't convince me otherwise. There's two opportunities that HighLevel will share the software fee that businesses are going to pay anyway with you. Option number one is you can resell it by putting your own brand on it, white labeling it, and charging what you want. It costs you anywhere from $297 to $497 a month for unlimited accounts. You can go up from there, and you can definitely, certainly invest more in your customer service as that white labeled brand. And you can also refer. You can use your affiliate link when you set up new clients, and you can get 40% recurring monthly revenue. These are two ways that HighLevel has said, we care about our community.
Yeah.
We're going to give back. We've built this for agencies and technical people so that they can assist the businesses of the world.
Yeah. And there's a third way as well, which we don't really talk about much, which is the 5% affiliate lane, right? So if you're watching this and you're like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this, but I'm happy to just send the referral over to Paige, then you become the 5% of the person that you send. So like Paige will be doing all the work when it comes to setting up all the affiliate stuff, but you can collect 5%, which is our second tier affiliate commission, which is also lifetime commissions. So a lot of big players, they will, refer over 100 affiliates. And sometimes when you have 100 affiliates under you at the 5% mark, well, we're talking big numbers just like that. So that also is another model that kind of is not that popular because people just don't know about it. So yeah, there are three ways to do it.
Amazing, amazing. And, I started looking around the landscape and I thought, well, don't other companies do this? What about, I was kind of told not to mention too many other software names, but I know them all by heart. And it's don't they also pay? And in a lot of cases, they may pay, but it's for a limited amount of time.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
it's
a
only
year and a
for
half or two
yeah,
years or yeah. We're
yeah,
we're different in the sense of the lifetime, and I don't think that'll ever change, because that's what we set out to do, as agency owners of the past to build the software ourselves, right?
yeah.
Um, but people always wonder, well, how can high level do that and still be profitable? Well, the real way to be profitable is if you can get customers to use the platform, right?
Mhm.
Because there's also blade revenue involved in text messages and emails and integrations and setups and all kinds of other ways to monetize for yourself as well. There's rebilling, right? We didn't even talk about that.
Right.
Those are all, there's multiple ways for you to make money, just so you're aware.
Yes, yes. I didn't wanna get too in the weeds about it or
Yeah.
detailed, but every email, every text message, every phone call, every, little bit of AI usage, it all comes out through rebilling. And I mean, when you do the option number 1 here and you resell the platform, you get an opportunity to take part in that revenue as well. So but don't get bogged down because, I think I kinda go back to my original point, which is I was watching a lot of trainings. I was hesitant
Mhm.
to learn yet another platform, and I wanna get into some of the things that you might be thinking that could be holding you back, and don't let complexity hold you back. Just keep the opportunity in mind because this like Paulson just said, this opportunity to have lifetime, profit share effectively, it doesn't exist everywhere. This is unique. It is something worth jumping onto, and I'll kinda leave it with this of somebody shared this with me. Actually, I think Paulson, it was the affiliate day after the last level up. Um,
Oh yeah.
this
Yeah.
Jason shared this, and this changed my mind, and it made me realize how big this is. So this is public information on Crunchbase of HighLevel of the funding rounds. You can see funding round number one, 60 million, funding round number two, non-disclosed, but more than likely much more than 60 million. So they are backed by the same company, General Atlantic, that backed all of these companies. And if they look like they're going places, that's the kind of company that you're in when you decide to jump into this opportunity. And I genuinely think of it as a wave. Like when I used to live in California, it's like you either get on or it's going to crash over you and miss you, and you're just going to watch it go into shore.
Yeah.
So jump on the wave. And before I dive into the resources that I have for you, because I want to set you up for success, I spent too many years feeling isolated and burning out, and then looking at the end of the month and realizing that if I were going to get recurring revenue that wasn't tied to more of my time, I had to shift my thinking. And so my big shift went from just being a web designer to a digital architect. So now when people meet me in person and they go, "What do you do?" Right? I easily can say, "Well, I build websites and I also build AI and automation systems. I'm a digital architect." And that resonates with people. So I want you to think about it. As a web designer, as a freelancer, or even a contractor for hire, you're like the painter of a house. You're making things pretty on the inside. You're building the website. It looks beautiful when people walk in, so to speak. But who gets paid more? A painter or an actual architect drafting the plans for the entire building? And so when you switch your thinking and you step into being a digital architect, it's building growth systems that clients depend on every month, you get paid more. And I don't just mean you get paid more because there's more time involved. I just mean overarching. Just think of those two job occupations, and that should help you shift, because this was the turning point for me. I had so many moments of burnout in my life when I was just a website designer. And I was a woman who, I'm born and raised in Kentucky. I always try and do the right thing. I'm a lot like my mother when it comes to trying to please everyone. And I was chronically undercharging and over delivering, but I was only thought of as their web designer. Now I'm seen as their digital architect for the business systems for their business.
Yeah.
And
So,
that, go ahead.
question for you, Paige, like the shift, right? The mindset shift, the identity shift, like can you walk us through like what you were thinking mentally? Like what are the steps you took to make that shift? I recognize and agree with you, but you have to make that shift because until then you're selling time ultimately, right?
Yeah.
So what exactly did you do to make that shift? Did you just make your mind up and said, you know what, I'm just going to charge $25,000 and or that's it? Like how did you make, what does the shift look like for you?
Yeah. Well, one part of it kind of came early on where I realized that building a website, I thought when I very first started 12 years ago, I thought, oh, it's just pretty. It just tells people on the internet something about a business. And I got a call one time and the man said, "This is life or death, Paige." And I kind of laughed internally. I was like, "What do you mean it's life or death? It's not heart surgery, it's website design, right?" But what he was referring to was he had a website where he was organizing yachts that were not being utilized somewhere in the Caribbean to help go do hurricane relief. And he was panicked on the phone and said, "If we don't get supplies, more people are going to die. And I need your help because we need way for people to actually collect donations through the website." And so I got a pot of coffee. I was house sitting for my brother with their cats running around, and I did, 48 hours of no sleep of building this thing out. Before I knew it, they had $100,000 of donations come through this website. Now that was Frankenstein with multiple plugins, and just put together as fast as I possibly could. But I realized that the skills that I had in digital mean more than just something pretty. And put a comment in the chat if you're realizing that you do more than websites already. You might not just be stepping into that identity. You go out there and find the way that the website can also be tied in with the email marketing autoresponder. You go and find the latest thing that can add this new functionality and feature. So for me, it was kind of a gradual shift, and it started with how I talked about myself. So give it a try. I would say
Yeah.
my advice to you listening is the next time you go to a gathering and the inevitable, so what do you do question comes up, give it a try of saying that you're a digital architect, that you build websites, growth websites, and you build AI and automation systems. Because the fact that you're here, you're listening, you already have these skills. You've been willing to go get a client and tell them that you'll build something for them digitally with your own, two hands or a mouse and a keyboard. The fact that you're already doing it says you're 80% of the way there.
Yeah. I remember this reminds me of the time when I first increased my fees when I had my dental agency. Um, 4 months into working with this dentist, she called me and she was like, Paulson, I want you to know something. I was really so at the time I'm charging like $1,500 to $2,000 a month for Facebook ads, a little bit of SEO and like website. I outsource the website side and the SEO, so it's like on-page SEO, get it up and going, and then my main thing was the Facebook ads for Invisalign and implant, not implants, like veneers, cosmetic implants. Um, Either way, for the first time in my whole life as an agency owner, I charged $3,500 compared to the normal $1,500 a month. And she paid on time, never had an issue. Like, and part of me, and this is outside of ad spend, right? And 4 months in, I was just chatting with her and she was like, Paulson, I'll tell you this. I was really scared to hire you because when you told me 3,500, I thought that was ridiculous. And I'm thinking ridiculously expensive. And she's like, well, that's the cheapest ads person I've ever hired.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, Paulson, I want you to know I fly with Eagles. I've spent close to $25,000 a month on marketing in general.
yeah.
That's been my practice for the last 10 years. And she's running a multi-million dollar dental practice with all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, holy cow, how did I think that was too much? So, in some sense, when a client knows that your prices are high and they're comfortable with it, that means they've done investments in marketing before. They
Yes.
have a certain sense of knowledge of what the value of what you bring to the table. So, after that, I felt way more confident after that first one. I was like, okay, now I'm never gonna go below these numbers, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that story because it took a little bit of confidence and a little nudge from another person to say, Paulson, you should have more confidence.
Oh, I love that. And Paulson, that reminds me of a tip that I've been sharing with people too, is that uh, when you're putting together your proposal, write down all of the detailed scope and go to ChatGPT and ask it, I'm going to do this, 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 and this based on everything I've told you about this potential client and what I'm proposing. What would be the industry going rate? And you'll likely be surprised. If you've been chronically undercharging, it's going to give you a step up because I mean, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I was too nervous to call up other agencies and pretend that I needed a website just to know their pricing. It was a lot more buttoned up, and nowadays, AI will help you with that. So, little pro tip, but yeah, that same thing here. And then don't assume that a client can't afford it, as you need to make the proposal based on the value you're bringing. I've made $22,000 proposals before and thought, I don't know if this client can swing it. But when they saw the value and they heard me talk about it, I've been the highest bidder on several proposals. And they tell me later that the reason why they went with me is because I was showing them behind the scenes of everything that's happening. So there's so much more I want to get to. And I'll say of these photos too, I'm incredibly proud of the one on the right because that was one client helped me pay for an entire remodel of the house that I bought. And so I'm just super excited to be here because I've been at this for 12 years, like I said, and I was overachieving and doing all the things like Ironman and 2 master's degrees and Fulbright and traveling the world and lucky right now to be doing an adjunct professor role of AI at the University of Louisville and all these opportunities. It just kind of taught me to just work, 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 right? Like everything was about my achievements. And that is also kind of what was indicative that got me into burnout. And I would look up and I would go, why is everybody else making so much money? And I'm so smart and I got all this. And so if you ever feel like that, drop that in the comment. You're like, why I don't get it. It's because I also had to shift my thinking from I'm a digital architect and this is very, very valuable infrastructure for a business to I don't need a bunch more clients and hustle until one day I retire. Because you know what Dual Masters got me? A mountain of debt. And that was really hard for me. And I just kept thinking, I just need to get the next client, the next client, the next client. Now I realize my shift is I will just incrementally stack. I'm going to get on very nice custom high ticket projects that work for my lifestyle for what I want. And then I will incrementally stack recurring income every month without extra work associated so that retirement comes sooner and with more ease.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if if you needed to hear this, but if you
Yeah.
did, let me
And
know.
it's okay if you don't turn every project into a recurring income. It's okay. Like,
Yeah.
not every single one of them will say, "Oh, I want this ongoing support." And that doesn't mean anything's wrong with the initial project you proposed. It just means that they feel like they have something else that's priority as well.
Yeah. Well, the recurring income I definitely am referring to is the software itself, and I just think
Right.
they need software anyway. So yeah, so this is just quickly to show you that. I mean, my projects increase, and then so did the monthly recurring income that's just tied to the software. I mean, this was one customer by spend, and just to see these coming in every month on auto pay is tremendous. I'll say too, I've got a lot of friends in real estate investing and they will go outside themselves to like go get a house to make 250 a month in cash flow or 300 a month in cash flow, and here I am making it which in a way that I'll never have to repair a roof. I'll never have to fix a toilet. I never have to hire a plumber, right? This is all backed by developers from HighLevel. So I'm not saying don't invest in real estate. I'm saying when you look at these side by side, you realize what an incredible opportunity this is to resell a software like this. And so I encourage you to step foot and forward into it as best you can. And if you think about it, see, I run a lifestyle agency. I don't need hundreds of clients. If you got two new clients or one new client a month, I'll just walk through this example really quickly. But if you had two new clients a month at 10K each for a growth website and 197 on the software fee, when you fast forward to 5 years, start thinking about what you can do in the long term instead of what you have to do tomorrow. It's way too easy for us to get in this comparison trap of I got to go from 0 to 100 right away. And that is paralyzing because I
Yeah.
can tell you from experience. So if all you did was incremental growth, look at the recurring software income at year 5, 23,000. Again, results will vary. It's not a guarantee. This is
Yeah.
just a number for you to actually start thinking a little bit longer term. At year 5, your monthly recurring income from just the software is 23,000. You've got the baseline high level fee, and then maybe you've got a team that's doing some of the customer support. You might even outsource that to groups that can step in and do it for you. I mean, the potential is amazing. So even if you stopped selling new websites 5 years from now, you'd still
Yeah.
be making the software income. And that to me is where I'm going. And if you're on this journey as well, I want to give you as many things to support you as possible because I believe that we are better together when we're headed towards the same goal together.
Absolutely. And we're also implying to not run ads, right? So if you made 5K on the side recurring, you can take that entire 5K and run paid ads
Yeah.
and bring in extra subscriptions as well. Of course,
Yeah.
it's going to cost a lot, but once you get to a certain income level, when it comes to the subscriptions and the ongoing, people reinvest that into getting a lot more eyes on their brand out the gate. So, maybe it's a 2-year run just because you invested into ads.
So true. So very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want you to imagine 5 years from now and ask yourself what you want your income to look like. What will the digital architect version of you be happy that you did? So with that, I want to make sure that I give you all the tools that you need. And so I have prepared a snapshot and some additional resources that I want to give.
Awesome.
uh, and I think about it like this. These are actual tools. So you could get a toolbox of instruction pamphlets, which would be just information. And that's not what this is. This is a toolbox of actual assets, the automations, everything that you need to actually click a button and get it into your account. So if you've heard the term snapshot, a snapshot is like a picture of all the tools and digital assets in this toolbox, and with one click, you can put it into your HighLevel account. So I'm going to show you what that entails. This might be a little bit busy, but I think if you'll bear with me,
Yeah,
you've
let me
got a funnel to sell the actual growth websites. Once somebody's interested, they're booking a call on your calendar. If you already have digital scheduling, you can migrate it all in, so it's all in the same place. You'll actually have it. You'll have an intake form, so you can learn more about the client before you get on a call. They'll be added to your deal pipeline. And then you can follow up with your prospecting automation, reminding them of the calls and then putting them into a nurture sequence. From there, you'd actually get on the demo call. And I have an entire demo call opportunity for you where you can actually just put your own face on it and walk people through this. And this will help you determine the scope of the project. And then from there, you would be sending them and delivering a proposal for them based on their unique scope, right? I know this is custom projects, but this is really for the person listening that's already doing this work anyway. And you just want to make this your next move so you can start setting yourself up for success. And then onboarding, as they set up for onboarding, they're also getting added to the software. It is separate from your services proposal. You're collecting two different payments when you get started so that you're never having to go back and forth on them with keeping their software running. And then I've got a client portal for you so you can actually manage the fulfillment. And then you've got some automations here as you're wrapping up that project. This is all for you inside of the snapshot. And so I thought I would walk through it if you're cool with that. I know I don't have too
Yeah,
much time.
give us a one in the chat if you want us to walk through it. And by the way, all you have to do to access all of this is just jump into a high level trial in case if you don't have high level. You do need high level to use a snapshot. That's part of our technology. And a snapshot is basically like an automation tree that's downloadable, reshareable, sellable. You can create your own as well. But yeah, I see a few ones coming in. So yeah, let's go ahead and walk through the snapshot.
Yes, and thank you for that reminder. And that's for anyone ever listening to me. That's also my goal is to just give. This community has given so much to me, and all you need is to sign up for HighLevel, and you can start with that free trial, and then you can immediately get all of these assets. And that's the goal here. So, like I was talking about, the other thing too is once you have this snapshot for your business to get up to speed selling growth websites, it's helping you learn HighLevel so that you can build for your clients in the platform. So by seeing how this all connects together, you're going to be up to speed faster than just having a blank account. So
Good point.
the growth website funnel here is where they would see the opportunity, book the call, and then the call would be confirmed, and that would take them into the next steps. This is the front end of that website. As I talked about inside of the website builder, it's drag and drop, and you can change anything. One of the cool things about how the HighLevel platform works that I was hinting at earlier is that it can be made with custom values. And I mean everything from images to colors to words on the screen. You can change anything you want. So back in the settings, when you go to settings and you go to custom values, these are things that are site-wide that you can adjust and change to be your own. And so, for example, here, if in the media storage part of the system, I upload a brand new logo, I can come in here and I can get the link, and then I can change this link one place in custom values, and everywhere it appears throughout the system, it will be updated. And just to show you, just to make it even more bold, let me get this updated. I'm going to go to a brand color. So we'll take the brand accent color, and I'm going to uh, edit this, or actually I'm going to take this dark background color, and I'm going to edit the custom value. Let me just grab a totally random color. So you can see here, I am updating that color. This gives you an idea of how you can build quickly as well, templates for your clients, and then change custom values as you get new clients. This speeds you up. So if we go back and look at this, take a look at the original logo, right? The colors, just so you can see all I have to do now is refresh. And we've got the new logo up here, a very, very
Yeah.
bright green now. I didn't say that was pretty, but this will show you what I mean by that, of where you can change your name, your brand, and it'll change throughout. All the custom graphics are in here for you, everything to explain why this is super important for people, the difference between a traditional website. You can put your testimonials in. You can change this however you want to your heart's content. On the very top, because videos will increase your conversion rate, there is a video. I also have this story selling offer script that you can use and put in a
Ooh,
prompt to give you a video script so that you can actually record your own, because that's a placeholder.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so because somebody buying a website is actually buying from you and trusting you, and so put yourself on there.
Right.
The next step, okay, so now when they book the calendar call, again, you can put your face, your logo. It's just an animated GIF I made. You can replace it. You can sync this with your calendar. They schedule it. I feel like you kind of already know what I'm talking about. When they're booked for the demo, it goes into the automation and they get all the reminders. This is what I was talking about, is totally yours to have. You can put your own name up here. This is built in Canva. You can put your own picture up here. And then when they jump on that call, you say something like, I'm super excited to talk about your growth website. Let's go through the things that are possible all in the exact same platform. So you have one thing to log into, and I'm going to take notes. So now you have the components. This is kind of meta because this is all the things I'm walking you through. And you're walking this through with your potential prospect of, well, do you need any lead intake forms? Do you need any surveys? What about a
Mm.
chat widget? And then you can come in here and you can actually put your notes into the sticky notes. Now, after that call, you have a place to go back and look to develop your proposal.
Wow.
And
It feels
uh,
like you came in prepared.
yes, I did. So you have all of it, and you can skip some. You can say, "Hey, I guess we're not going to be using documents and contracts, so let's just move onward." Right? Every client doesn't necessarily need every single thing, but this gives you that presentation flow. You can talk to them about how you can keep automation simple by just thinking of it in three buckets: prospecting, onboarding, and next boarding, which is just my fancy way of saying requests for review, requests for referrals, upsells, onboarding new clients, and then prospecting leads. And then just reminding them again, this is here, you can put your brand on it. This is what we're doing. We're setting you up for a growth engine. These are the benefits of it. So you can walk them through and then tell them what the next steps are. We'll send the proposal to you. This is actually here is a one of my community members. So you can see she took the time to already put her face on this, record a video, put that video on her main landing page to sell growth websites. Now let's talk about the proposal. This right here is what I call my winning proposal template. It's inside of the snapshot. So this will be in your HighLevel account, and you can automate everything when the proposal goes out. And so what this does is it gives a little bit of an overview, but the thing that's most important to this is the scope. So this gives you all the possible scope of what you could be doing, but then you get to come in here and delete things and move things around, because I understand these are custom projects, right? That's how you can charge a very nice price point for them. So I just went ahead and put everything in, that way you're not starting from scratch. And I encourage you to get really, really, really crystal clear. I have seen so many marketing agency proposals that are vague. People don't want to buy vague, and they don't understand why there's a high price tag on vague. So I would put everything you can down to the number of calendars you're creating, down to the number of forms, and it can come from that demo call and that presentation where you actually gather that insight. So this is all here for you, including setting up the actual product. And this is what's really amazing about this too, and how HighLevel works, is you can also set up the flow where it automatically sends them to go collect payment once you connect your Stripe or PayPal account. And then you can see I've always got this on here, which just talks about, you will have software fees. I play a very transparent game. So I tell my clients this is built on the HighLevel system. Kismet, which is my company, is your agency of record, but you can choose however you want to write these up. And then you put your contractor agreement here, and then it is ready to go for signature. So that's in there. Paulson, I hope it's okay if I just kind of keep going. I also
No,
have
no, keep going. This is beautiful, by the way. I think I don't know if people understand how hard it is to put this all together for someone who's starting out, especially. Like this is such a game changer, and you're allowing people to skip the first 10 steps of working, just start launching. So keep going, keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So then once you get the contract signed and you get the invoice paid, there's another onboarding flow, but I also want to show you that I'm providing you a client portal. You can use this if you want. I wish it were on HighLevel. HighLevel Task Manager is great. This one's just a little bit more in depth and detailed. This is what I use with all of our clients. And so it's all built on Notion. It's totally free. You can come in here, you can actually click this button, you can duplicate it and you can make it your own. You can change it a million times and then you can duplicate it another million times if you want to. And so we have the quick links, the notes for their inbox. But what's really nice is I've actually walked through all the tech setup. So all of the details are on here. And then if you want to just delete something, for example, you're not going to do any checkouts or stores, you can delete this entire section with all of the subtasks. But I included everything for you. So that way nothing falls through the cracks and you kind of already have a baseline for when that client gets started. This is how I do all of our builds where the client can see that in a lot of cases, they just need to complete the first couple of tasks. And then myself and the rest of my team, and let me say this too, you can do this with a very small team. But myself and just a couple of team members, we assign ourselves to the rest of the stuff. And I think it also reinforces the value. So you don't have to use it like this. You can, if you don't build transparently in front of the client, there's no shame in that. You could just have this for yourself to manage the fulfillment. So I wanted you to know that this is available for you as well. And then to manage the meetings, because the number of meetings you have also is part of the proposal. That way you have that in your scope as well. What else did I have? Yeah, so then inside the snapshot, these are the workflows that happen when the proposals are signed and the calls are booked, and these are all built out and ready for you to go. And then this is that onboarding. So once they become a client and they pay the invoices for the services, you start actually fulfilling on those services. You also have them go through an onboarding checkout where they sign up with their card on file for the software. And it's showing them that they're paying what they're paying for the software. You can change all of these. These are frequently asked questions that I just shared with you. And again, custom values. Once you update your email one place, it updates everywhere it is. And you can totally feel free to customize this. But this page is already here for you so that you can get your clients in there. So yeah, so Paulson, I think that's about it. I did have a couple more slides on things that might still be holding people back because they were holding me back on resistance. How are we on time? Do I have like
We're doing good. So how many of you that are watching right now is mind blown like I am? Because I wish I had a master class like this when I started off, 15 years ago, where somebody's walking me through how to launch a business and then giving me steps instead of just theory, right? So Paige, I'm so excited for this community to take this and run with it.
Thank you so much. And I'm continually building more resources. And like I said, my goal is to just give them wholeheartedly. This community gives to me. And really all you need is the tool, right? And I think doing it together with other people is really where it's at. But also we talked about your identity shift, but I want to talk about your belief, because if you're having any of these doubts like I was, then maybe this is the last thing you need to hear to believe in yourself to do this. And I heard this when I gave this presentation, that this lit a fire under some people. And so maybe you need to hear this too, because if you're building your destiny, you have to build your belief. One of the big feelings I had was, I'm not an agency. I work with one or two, three people tops on my team. There are also contractors that work with me. This is built for agencies. Am I an agency or am I just a digital architect, right? Am I doing this and am I big enough? And the unwavering belief and opinion I have right now is that it's totally your choice. We are in the AI era that says that you can have $1 million business with one employee. This is totally your lifestyle call. So if you're listening right now, drop a comment in the chat if you're like, I get it. It's my lifestyle, right? So if you want a team of 50, if you want a team of 20, if you want a team of 1,000, right? It's your lifestyle at the end of the day. If you want to run this thing with you and an outsourced team of tech support and customer support, do it, right? Like you get to choose. And I feel strongly about that. The other big fear I had was that it seemed like a really big commitment. And I was like most freelancers, I also sort of treated everything like a graduate school project. And I was like, well, once it's done, I'm done, and then moving on. And what has helped me step into this now is actually thinking for the much longer term. And I think it was a fear that clients would constantly demand updates. And what I'm realizing now is someone who I've built for 2 years ago on the platform barely reaches out, just uses what was built. The automations are running, the growth website's there. And most of the time when they reach out, they go, "Hey, could we build this, this, and this?" And so it's another contract with the same client. And so anyway, I think the truth is that most clients don't actually reach out, and if they do, you can hire outsourced support really easily. HighLevel Marketplace has a couple of amazing companies that do that completely on your behalf. And then you're not committing to endless client revisions, right? Scope creep. You're giving them a system that runs itself, and then they pay you, the software, for it every single month. And so you can record trainings for clients, you can send them Loom videos, you can have your team do that. You're empowering them. I also encourage people, if they want to bring somebody in on a daily basis to do updates for them. That's not really what I do, is kind of a, bespoke digital architect. But if they want somebody in there all the time doing stuff for them, bring them into the system, add your staff. I'll show them where to add new team members. This is a screenshot from a client who runs a $23 million company. And I sent him a video on how to do something with the proposal, the contract templates. And that was the response. I did it. It's amazing that clients will feel super empowered. Same thing here. This client was like, I want to spend more time redoing the videos, but I love the platform. And this is thanks to HighLevel, not tooting my own horn. This is thanks to HighLevel making it easy. So a couple more, because I was struggling with this too, was like, can I even charge this much? And we sort of talked about that too. I think a disempowering belief is that they could just go hire someone on Fiverr. Website design prices are going, everybody can build a website now. They could click and create a Google site, etc. I really think that that's false thinking, because in reality, business owners are paying more for automation, AI, and customer systems than ever before. And it's no longer, when I started, it was, I think I need a website. I could probably use one. Now it's, I must have one, and I need something better than just a brochure online. So I want you to remember, you're selling business infrastructure, which is 10 times more valuable. So I often tell people this in a demo call. I say, if you were to open up, let's assume they don't have a brick and mortar already, or if they do have a brick and mortar, then use that to your advantage and explain it. In your storefront, you had to set up everything, and you have all of the plumbing, the electricity, the shelves, your product. You have all of it laid out and designed for an experience when people walk in. That's the digital infrastructure that we are building for you. That is what makes me a digital architect. I am your architect to build this for you, and that has it turned on more light bulbs than I can tell you. So, last thing I want to say is, if you don't feel comfortable charging it, you'll probably um, need to just incrementally grow your way there. Like I heard one time that the best price for you is the highest price where it feels good in your system and you'd be proud to say it. So we all have our own kind of comfort level ceilings. But even if you only charged 5K or even 1K, which I think would be outrageous if you were, in my opinion. But even if you only charged a little bit, but you could collect recurring income for years, where will that bring you in a couple of years? And then the last thing I'll say is, you don't necessarily have to do big project flat rates. I've done VIP days before. I know several people will call them getting it done days or implementation days. This is, hey, you've got a list of things to do. We're going to do it in 4 hours or 8 hours. So you can actually charge just for a day if you don't want to do a 5 to 8 week project. And this can be a better way for clients to get started and then move into either more VIP days or kind of a more bigger project later on. You could do retainers. You could do a rent to own model. I hear a lot of people talking about that. Hey, here's this website. And nowadays too, you can even kind of get these started with AI, which is amazing. Here's this website demo. If you want it, you can pay us every month to have it. So there are so many different models, but I just want to tell you, our skills are probably the most important in like, I don't want to say, I mean, not obviously not more important than like, brain surgery, or I don't know. I'm just going to stop. I think I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I just want to tell you, like, our skills are incredibly important. The fact that you're willing to be on this call for this long, want to learn and want to move forward, tells me that you got to remember that for yourself, that this is important for businesses. The last couple of things is I don't want you to get caught up in this feeling of like, how do I get clients? Really, the easiest way for me to get clients, and I'm happy to share this, the more I hope we end up being in the same community together for the long run, it's video outreach. I reach out with videos. I send them actual screen share videos of what the system can do, what their current website or their current tech stack, how it's holding them back. I give them fresh ideas for things they can do, and then my phone rings. So I think the disempowering belief is I don't know how. And I was in the like, put a comment in the chat if you're always looking for the next, or maybe if you don't feel like admitting that, but where you feel like you're stuck because you've heard you can do referrals and networking and organic social media and paid social media and webinars and VSLs and joint ventures and cold outreach and inbound lead generation, and you're just learning. But the reality is that any of these will work if you'll stick to one long enough to see results. So I hope that reminds you that you're more than capable and there is no shiny silver bullet. They can all work, and it depends on what's best for your lifestyle and just taking action. So this is the one too, is that I thought at first I just don't want to learn another platform. But every time you learn something new, it is a learning curve. But this is the last one you have to learn. And you're more than 80% of the way there if you're already somebody who has these skills. So I would say jump in, because this is actually the last platform that you have to learn in a big way and have that learning curve, because they're growing so rapidly. You can do anything with it. And avoiding any of these new skills and staying stuck and saying all I do is build a 5-page website, it's just going to put you behind, and it's going to keep you stuck in feast or famine. So I highly encourage you. And as a reminder, businesses are 90% of the head of the curve just by having simple automation sequences in place. You can do this. Start today. Okay. Don't wait. Get the free trial, click the snapshot, send me a message, connect with me. Right. But most importantly, do it for you. Do what the digital architect version of you would do to create what most people won't create in a few years or less.
I love it. I think the biggest takeaway I had so far out of everything we talked about was the fact that the mindset shift into a new world of pricing and the mindset shift of the business model that, okay, I could create long-term recurring revenue over time. I don't have to go do the traditional SaaSpreneur thing and sell a bunch of low ticket stuff. Like, I think that's the key, right? Because there's so many different ways to build this recipe up of entrepreneurship. Um, and the beauty is that it's each one of you have your own unique like style, your own unique um, creativity and just talent behind it. So part of it is just stepping into the confidence of it. Paige, what are the final thoughts you may share with somebody that's brand new, starting out, new to the world of digital marketing, and they're a new digital citizen and they just found out HighLevel like a week ago?
Let's see. Hold on. Can I stop sharing so you can see
Yeah,
me?
I stopped sharing,
Oh,
but
sweet.
there you go.
Awesome. Oh, my advice to you is it's get on the wave. And I think it is exactly what you just highlighted, Paulson. Allow yourself to do this incrementally. The comparison trap, they say comparison's the thief of joy, but it's also the thing that can cause analysis paralysis more than anything else. Because you're thinking, well, if they did it and they did, this number of accounts in this blink of a time, and you got to just remember that you're on your own journey. And these skills right here, right now, of setting up AI and automation and websites that are truly more than just a brochure, that are a system. This is the best possible place you could be in the world right now with what is happening. We don't even know what's going to happen in the next couple of years. And so this is the best place you can be. Surround yourself with people that believe in you as well. I would love to be, connected with you. This high level community, truly seeing everyone do it their own way and then giving each other the permission to go at it how they want to go at it. I think that's where it's at. So stay connected and just remember you get to take one step at a time.
Thanks for watching another episode of High Level Masterclass, everybody. Paige, thank you so much for saying yes. I know there was a lot of preparation behind this, so excited to do more things like this with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Paulson.
Bye for now.